I'd lucky. It's true. By day, I'm your favorite Special Forces veteran, but by night, I'm an international man of mystery. Goldfinger is out there trying to wreak havoc, but fear not. I will save the world at the last second without even putting a wrinkle in my jacket. Because in this episode of Hollywood Weapons, we're gonna test...
the Green Hornet.
Dude, you see how I'm dressed.
See?
And you do see what I'm driving.
See?
Yeah, that's because we're testing James Bond, not the Green Hornet. I told you this 100 times.
Nunca hacemos lo que yo quiero. Siempre es lo que tú quieres. Siempre Terry.
As I was saying, this episode of Hollywood Weapons, we're testing James Bond. Yeah, he should be all right. Do you love TV and movies as much as I do? Yeah, of course you do. And you sometimes find yourself asking, come on, man, can you really do that? Well, guess what? We're gonna put Hollywood to the test. This is Hollywood Weapons. Bond. James Bond. No, it's just me. All right, we're testing 007. You're welcome. I grew up with James Bond, and I love all those films, and there's definitely lots of gadgets and gizmos we could test, but most of them are a little far-fetched. Vodka martini, shaken, not stirred, 3 olives. However, there is one test that I do think is Hollywood Weapons worthy. In 1964's Goldfinger, Q gives 007 an Aston Martin DB5. Nothing screams 60s, sexy British car louder than that. Perfect. Follow me. Uh-huh. Iconic car for an iconic film series. This was every guy's fantasy. Think about it. It is a cool sports car with sexy lines, and you add the Bond gadgets. Spraying oil slick, the bulletproof shield that pops up in the back, and the ejector seat, which really works well. But what I'm wondering about is this. The front-mounted machine guns. Oh, behave. Will they really be able to work with any kind of effectiveness? That's right. Your favorite segment is back. Say it.
Terry's 007 Knucklehead Science.
So, James Bond had the slickest car ever? Equipped with these twin Vickers 303 caliber machine guns, very nice. 2 things at play here. Stability of the vehicle while firing and accuracy. Now, I doubt this is going to be as easy as 007 makes it seem. As you know, there are lots of shows which use vehicle-mounted machine guns. I'm thinking, I don't know, like Green Hornet?
Black Beauty was equipped with 2 Browning 1919 30 caliber machine guns. Similar round than the British 303, right?
Gracias.
De nada.
However, the question is the same for either vehicle. Thank you, Cato. You may leave. Haven't seen Larry in a week. Think it's time to go bug him. Really, dude, Cato, trying to do a show here. We're putting James Bond to the test. 2 machine guns mounted on a car. How accurate can that be? Could you actually hit your target while driving and firing those guns? Well, we're here at ISS, blah, blah, blah. You know the drill. Let's go inside.
Terry Schappert in a tuxedo. Now I have seen everything.
Mr. Zanoff.
Mr. Schappert.
Did you miss me?
You know I'd love to say that I did.
Nah, you kind of just did. I hope you're willing and able to do another test.
Be honest, do I have a choice?
Yeah, no, but I really want you to feel like you have to. It's Bond. It's gonna be fun. Come on, bro.
Yeah, it could be. It depends on what gadget you're trying to test.
I want to test the feasibility of 2 machine guns mounted on the front of a car to see if it's possible to actually hit anything.
Yeah, it's not as easy as one might think. The converging lanes of fire is actually the real key to the success of that kind of test.
I agree, and so for the benefit of the audience and maybe Terry Schappert, could you explain it to us?
Sure, why don't you head to the back room? I'll grab a couple of visual aids and I'll be right there.
Delightful. This is my favorite room here. You know, I think Larry was really excited to see me. I know it doesn't look like that to you, but I know. Yeah, great, Larry, that's awesome. But we don't have a lot of time, maybe after the test.
Yeah, right. Anyway, obviously we've got the 1919 machine guns. We're going to use the American 30-06 version. Ian Fleming, of course, imagined them coming out of a Spitfire, so they would have been the British 303 version.
I had a model of this plane hanging from my ceiling as a little boy.
Didn't we all, right?
Legendary.
But here, like you can see on this model, in the real plane, the guns were mounted in the wings,
Yeah.
right? And it was a 37-foot wingspan, and the guns were 18 feet apart, which means that if you had the guns pointing straight forward like that...
That means you're gonna have a really hard time hitting anything directly in front of you.
Exactly. You could actually have a man-sized target sitting right in between the gunfire, and you would miss it, right? However, if we converge on a single point, we can get what we call weapons harmonization, right? And you can see that after a certain distance, the bullets would start to diverge again. So you really have a very narrow window of where you can hit your target.
This is why I prefer to use one gun at a time.
Yeah, you know, the British, of course, struggled with this. They actually started out at 1,200 feet, and they actually had to retreat back to 750 feet to be effective.
That is a good-looking man. All right, so the point here is we've got to figure out this, harmonic convergence, the best point for our vehicle.
Yeah, so I can figure out the convergence for the car. That's not a problem. We'll design something to mount the guns on it. I think we should bring in Andre, effects guy extraordinaire to fabricate the thing, and it should be good.
He's the best, I'll call him.
You know, by the way, that Bond wasn't the only guy to mount machine guns on a car.
Yeah, Green Hornet.
Well, actually, I was thinking Batman, but Green Hornet would work just as well.
Whatever. The Bond car was the best.
Whatever.
You want to see?
See what?
Follow me, Zanoff.
Look at that. It's beautiful. Where in the world did you get that? A real DB5?
I borrowed it.
Come on now. Fun's over. Hand it over. Fancy a drink at my place?
Man, that guy really wins every time. Call me a cab, mate. Larry and I are testing to see how accurate James Bond's Aston Martin could have been with 2 machine guns mounted to the front. I'm heading off to see Andre, a special effects master, to help me mount these guns to a car. Andre! Anybody home?
Hey, Terry, come on in.
What's going on here? You've got a lot going.
I'm very busy. What can I help you with?
First of all, I know you're very busy. I want to take 2 machine guns, mount them on a car just like in James Bond, and I want to see what I can hit.
Awesome. I'm in. What kind of guns you thinking of?
2 Browning 1919 30 cals.
Ooh. One on each side of the car?
Yeah, man, just like in the movie. This is Hollywood weapons.
All right. It's a big deal. We like to deal with that kind of thing.
Yeah.
We got the weight of the guns, and the balancing's gonna be critical.
Got it.
I
know.
We have the whole convergence pattern situation we have to
We're
deal
on
with.
that too. We can work that.
Okay. That sounds great, man. I'm gonna need that car ASAP.
Funny you should say that because I've already got one outside. Want to see it?
I do. I like your style.
That's what I'm here for, buddy. That's why we're friends.
Perfect. Where'd you get this?
From a friend, a really lovable but occasionally annoying friend.
You know what, I think to make it simple, we're gonna mount them on top instead of trying to mount them under the fenders.
Totally cool with
Okay? Because in reality, you know, those guns wouldn't fit in that tiny Aston Martin vehicle.
Yeah, right.
You know? And, you know, besides, there's other shows where the guns are mounted on top, like the Green Hornet. You seen it?
I know it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do you want to fire the guns from?
Ideally, I'd love to be able to do it from inside, you know, the cockpit of the car while I'm driving.
Okay. Let me work on that. I'll have Mark get on this, and do you want to give him a hand and do some welding and grinding and rigging and all the things we do? Yeah.
Heck yeah, I would.
We need help.
Well, I'll try.
All right.
I can't promise I'm good.
That's okay. I'm not either.
As Larry finishes figuring out the convergence pattern, I help the guys build the gun mounts and prep the Range Rover for the test. I think I'm helping.
Gonna go to some air.
Hey, guys.
Larry.
Hey, Larry, what's up?
Hey,
How's it
man, what
going?
are you doing here?
Well, Andre and I have been blocking everything out so far with replicas, but I think we're at that point where we need to have a real machine gun. And it's not like I'm leaving a real federally controlled firearm with this Yahoo, so I had to bring one down myself.
Yahoos. Yeah, good point.
Yeah, I also figured out your converging lanes of fire and everything,
Excellent.
so I think we're good to go on that right now.
Well, guys, I'm excited. I have you both here, so I gotta ask, when can we do this thing live?
Well, we're still working on a way to fire the guns from inside the vehicle.
You're still going with pneumatic?
Absolutely, but I think we're gonna have it by tomorrow.
I don't care if you're Dr. No, Ernst Blofeld, Scaramanga, or any other Bond villain. Tomorrow at the range, Her Majesty's Secret Service, we're gonna be ready for you. Let me see, let me get in there, man. It's test day, and we're here to see how accurate you can be with two machine guns mounted to the front of a vehicle, just like James Bond had in Goldfinger. Well then, this looks like 00 trouble.
You do know that tuxedo's gonna get dirty, right?
James Bond's didn't.
Yeah, but me and Andre have been talking earlier, and we both agreed you're not James Bond.
Yeah, thanks, Larry. This looks great, man. How do you feel about this? This is killer.
You know, Terry, we feel really good about this. We have the gun mounted on this bracket here to the hood. We have our nitrogen lines run for the trigger unit. We have our electrical lines for our solenoid, which is going to activate the trigger. And we're ready to go. You know, we've been very busy on this, Mark and I, and we're ready to put this to the test.
You boys are good. Larry, I do see some targets out there.
We do have a few surprise targets for you downrange there, but that's for a little bit later. Let's look inside the car first, okay?
Yeah, I want to show you something
Okay.
inside. So, Terry, what you have right there is the button, okay? That's going to actuate the gun. So when you press that button, make sure you go all the way down.
Okay.
And
good positive contact.
Absolutely. When you do, those guns are firing. They're blasting away on you.
Yeah. This is great.
Now, I'm going to assume that you know how to drive, so I'm going to skip that part right there. We're going to go straight to the guns. Mark and Andre have done a great job of mounting these guns up top there on the hood. We're going to have 200 rounds out there, 100 rounds in each gun for you. That's going to work out to 40 rounds per target.
Okay.
You've got your triggering button there. So I think we're pretty close to being ready to go.
This is amazing. Should we probably test this before we actually go live?
Well, it's not really a test, but there is one more step. We talked about convergence and everything.
Yeah.
We still have to harmonize the guns, as it were. So we're going to roll this down range into one of the bays. We're going to set our distance. We'll do a test fire real quick, and then we'll be ready to roll.
Okay.
It'll be great.
Let's go.
Let's do it. Larry and I start aligning the weapons to converge on our target. And after several test shots, we have our distance and angle for the guns. Hopefully I can keep my cool under pressure, just like 007 did on a regular basis. That's not bad.
You can see two distinct groups, one from each gun.
Yep.
But if you look at the number of cubes that we've got going, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10, because we split the line.
Right.
You got maybe 10 to 12 inches there. That's way less than the width of a human body.
Yep.
So both guns at this distance would hit a single person standing there.
I think the challenge also for me as the driver is because I am offset from center line.
I think what it is right now, since we know where the bullets are going, you need to sit in the car and get a good idea of what that sight picture, because that's basically the windshield has become your sight picture.
All right, that's what I was trying.
And you just need to get what that looks like for hitting center and marry that up.
That's what I was, before I shot him, like, I was just taking some marks. Hood, edge of the machine gun. Okay.
We call that cheating, but yeah, you should do that.
That's called training with your weapon of choice, Larry.
Bonds didn't do that.
Yes, he did. Of course he did. All right, Larry. What do we got?
Okay, pay attention here, 00. Our Brook intelligence drone has identified 5 active enemy targets on the way to the objective. We have an armored vehicle on patrol over here. We have the mysterious man in black up there. We have the evil albino right there on the side of the berm, and the horrible Chevy over on the berm there. And somewhere out there is Oddjob, who has kidnapped Her Royal Highness. We need to get out there and save her without hitting the no-shoot targets, which are the ice cream truck, the Model T, and of course, Her Royal Majesty. Now, the car that we've provided for you this time, 00, is the standard issue Land Rover with our 1919 30-06 caliber machine guns. So let's go and save the Queen, but please bring the car back in one piece.
I got it. Do you expect me to hit all these targets?
Of course not. I expect you to miss them all, Mr. Bond.
That's a pretty good Goldfinger,
Yeah,
dude.
thank you. I've been working on that.
Yeah, let's do it.
Fire. Fire. And fire. Here we go. And okay. Fire. Go get the queen. Go get the queen.
Your Majesty, I apologize. Gotta go. I promise this will be fast, ma'am. We'll have you out here in a minute.
You got the queen?
We have her. We have the precious cargo.
Well, why don't we go past the targets and see what we did?
Okay.
He's just stitched, man. Look at that.
Right in the center, low left kidneys.
Yeah.
No headshot, but he's done.
He's
right
done.
down the middle. See ya, Oddjob? Yes. How dare you? Don't mess with the UK.
Weapons are clear. So we got right across the engine block again. So again, left-hand side equipment, we've got...
We hit the gun, too. We got a few here and a bunch of the tread over there.
Yeah. That was probably actually a shot right down the barrel. Right there. So, you know, a typical Bond shot, you know. But definitely that's a disabled tank.
Dude.
Good job.
That was actually one of the best times I've ever had. You're the man. I'm gonna finish up?
Yeah, hey, hang on a second. Mission isn't over yet.
Yeah, it is, dude. We saved the Queen.
Well, yeah, we saved the Queen and we got Oddjob, but Goldfinger is still out there.
You minx. Let's find him.
Let's do it. Roll up. There we go. Wow, look at that. So, what do you think of that little surprise there at the end, by the way?
Yes, he's certainly well done.
Oh, you're on fire today, Double O,
I
aren't
do what
you?
I can, Larry, so are you. Nicely done, man.
Good shooting.
Mission accomplished.
I think that's definitely a mission accomplished, yeah.
Well, that's what you get when you mess with the Queen and James Bond. Well, there you have it. 007 put to the test, and more importantly, Her Majesty the Queen safe and sound. Huge thank you to Andre Ellingson and Mark Stanton for putting together this Bond machine. And of course, Larry and the team for making it fun and safe. What did we learn today? Well, this is doable. The challenge is to get this convergence point on these machine guns, and today we were wildly successful, which makes sense, because Bond, James Bond, is always successful. I also need to mention the sad passing of Sir Roger Moore recently. I first saw him in Live and Let Die with my mom and my little brother, and I will never forget how great he was. Handsome, unflappable, and cheeky as heck. He's a member of an elite fraternity of actors that have been given the honor of bringing one of the most iconic screen characters to life, and he's gonna be missed. So, if you're watching a TV show or movie and you think to yourself, can you really do that? Reach out to us at outdoorchannel.com/HollywoodWeapons, and maybe, just maybe, we'll put it to the test. Oh yeah, Larry, by the way, my tux didn't get dirty at all.